Hello, race fans, and welcome to the H1 Unlimited E-League Racing Series presented by Spokane Angels Foster Care. My name is Brad Luce, and thanks for coming along with us today. It is race number 4 on the virtual racing series, and it is something special. We are coming to you virtually from the shores of Lake Washington in Seattle, where the hydroplane racing tradition spans more than 70 years. Today, it is the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. Many of the H1 Unlimited race teams call Seattle home, and one half of our E-League drivers today are home to the Pacific Northwest. Yes, winning in Seattle is something special, but it will not be easy. It never is in the highly competitive E-League racing series. Enhancements to the virtual racing platform at our last event made the racing even more realistic and challenged our drivers to refine their skills at an even higher level. They were up to the challenge. The result was exciting racing, and we can expect more of the same today. It is the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair, and it is next. My broadcast partner today, as he has been all season, is Tate Meyer. And Tate, our drivers have had 2 more weeks with the new platform. I know they are anxious and ready to go.
Very anxious and very ready to go, Brad. This E-League Racing Series is very competitive, and we changed the course up on them. Seattle has 100-foot larger of a radius than Tri-Cities corners do, but the straightaways are 1,000 feet shorter. So what you're going to want to do is going to put a tall gear into that boat. Make sure you can get acceleration out of the corner. And lane one's probably going to be more important than it was in Tri-Cities.
Yeah, I would expect that's what the case is going to be. And as we saw in Madison, and you just said, they're also not going to have that longer straightaway for the leapfrog procedure. So the fighting for that lane 1 is probably going to take place down in turn 1 prior to the start. Should be a good day of racing. We've had our qualifying. All 12 boats are in the field. Everybody's north of 150 miles an hour on our qualification ladder, and maybe it's poetic justice, but Kelsey Best, driving the Miss HomeStreet at the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair, is our top qualifier, coming in just a tick under 159 miles an hour, exactly 158.994. He was cooking. He's been a winner on the circuit already this year in Madison. He'd love to win one today in front of the hometown sponsor.
He would absolutely love to win that for his hometown sponsor, HomeStreet Bank, here in Seattle. He's got 2 victories, both in Madison. The last year's winner of this HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair E-League race was DJ Miller. He is not in the 7 this year. It is Scott Przbilski, so we will have a brand new winner at Seattle on the E-League Racing Series, Brad.
Yeah, that was an interesting win a year ago because that 7 is the Boitano home, Spirit of Detroit. For those of us of a certain vintage who were very much aware of the old Detroit-Seattle rivalry, there was always that little something that just kind of tickled us a little bit if a boat from Detroit came in and stole our Seattle Seafair. We'll see if Scott Przbilski can do it this time aboard the 7. One of the other guys we need to talk about is Fast Eddie Canfouche. His boat looked really quick 2 weeks ago in the Tri-Cities, but this is a different race course, as you explained up front. But Eddie, with a big day in the Tri-Cities, was able to open up some ground on the rest of the field in the national high point standing.
He was indeed, and he's got a 450-point advantage on the high point standings currently, but that's only 2 heats worth of competition, so it's still wide open. Quentin Miller's right there at 3,505, and then you have 5 drivers within 300 points below him. So we put 6 boats at a time out on the race course, so you can have anywhere from 400 to 95 points. It's going to be an interesting day, Brad. Let's get it going.
I am ready to get it going. The H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series is brought to you in part by Spokane Angels Foster Care. Spokane Angels, where they wrap community around children, youth, and families experiencing foster care. And by Jesse Stitches, custom embroidery and more in Snohomish, Washington since 1990. And by Atomic Screen Printing and Embroidery, a leading Northwest producer of high-quality screen-printed and embroidered products since 1998. H1 Unlimited is a proud club of the American Powerboat Association, the national authority for boat racing in the United States. The APBA is a member-driven organization established in 1903 and headquartered in East Point, Michigan. For more information on the American Powerboat Association or to join the APBA, head over to www.apba.org. H1 Unlimited is also very proud today, Tate Meyer, to welcome 4 new sponsors to the series today. We'd like to extend a note of gratitude to our new friends at TDS, a leading high-speed internet provider. TDS offers the fast speeds you need and the reliability you deserve. And Staples of Spokane, Washington. Staples, going the extra mile for your office needs. Also like to welcome Orca Scuba Center in Wenatchee, Washington. A member of the Professional Association of Diving Instructors, Orca offers a full range of snorkeling and scuba courses, along with all the equipment you need for your next adventure. And lastly, but certainly not least, we'd like to welcome Woodshed Embroidery in Spokane, Washington, for all your embroidery and vinyl needs, to include shirts, hats, jackets, patches, and more. Woodshed Embroidery in Spokane, Washington. Tate Meyer, we can't race without our sponsors. We've got them. We've got some new ones. Thank you for joining us, our new sponsors. Thank you for sticking with us, our continuing sponsors. Let's go boat racing. Let's take a look at a draw, and let's see who we have coming in our first heat of the day, Heat 1A at the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair.
We have the U3 Griggs Ace Hardware, driven by TJ Serwinski. The U7 Boitano Homes, driven by Scott Prisbilski. U9 Strong Racing 2, driven by Nick Kish out of Rochester Hills, Michigan. The U11 J&D is driven by Ben Dowell. U48 Lake Ridge Paving, driven by Mickey Washburn. And the U91 Miss Goodman Real Estate, driven by Tim Johnson. Heat 1B, defending champion Eddie Canfouche in the U1 Bucket List Racing 1. Eddie is going up against Kelsey Best in the U6 Miss HomeStreet. The U8 Strong Racing 1, driven by Carson Kelly. The U12 Graham Trucking, driven by Quentin Miller. The U98 Graham Trucking American Dream, driven by Matt Johnson. And rounding out the field, the U440 Bucket List Racing 2, Bo Rarig, who won our first race of the season in Guntersville, Alabama.
For those who were not with us 2 weeks ago, one of the upgrades in the racing platform that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, didn't mention yet, is the boats sitting on the trailers in the pit area. And for those of us that have been to Quillshaft Lagoon, which is what we used to refer to that piece of land that juts out there in the Lake Washington, what a great sight to see our 12 H1 Unlimited E-League hydroplanes sitting on the trailers ready to go racing. Let's get us on the clock. Let's go see who's going to win this HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair.
We are waiting on a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
5 minutes, inside 5 minutes to Heat 1A. A little bit about our racing format as our boats get placed into the water and come out on the race course. We will have 3 sets of preliminary heats. The preliminaries will all be 3 laps in length. The top 6 boats at the end of all of our preliminary racing will be on the front row of the final heat. We'll go 5 laps around in that final heat, and it is a winner-take-all final heat. Boats coming away from the dock, you ride along right there with the U7 Boitano Homes Spirit of Detroit. This boat was the winner here a year ago, with DJ Miller behind the wheel today, driven by Scott Prisbilski from San Diego, California. The young man is 35 years of age. He knows how to drive these boats. He was a winner last summer at our San Diego event. Everybody loves piston power. The U3 Go3 Racing's Griggs Ace Hardware. TJ Serwinski behind the wheel. He is 50 years old. He's out of Tonawanda, New York. He is a rookie on our series this year, a father with 2 young children. He loves boat racing. He'd love to win here on Lake Washington. Looking now at the U11, the J&Ds, with Ben Dowell handling the driving chores today. Originally from Tacoma, Ben now resides in Nashville, Tennessee. He is 33 years of age. Strong Racing entry, Nick Kish there. This is Strong Racing 2, the U9. predominantly black and silver on the boat. He is 32 years of age. He, Nick Kish, calls home to Rochester Hills, Michigan, another of our rookies, but he's getting better each time out on the water. Looking at the predominantly white boat right there, driven by Mickey Washburn. It's the U-48, the Lake Ridge Paving. An easy boat to spot on the water with that black and white checkerboard scheme on the fairings. Mickey resides in Pasco, Washington. He is 42 years of age. Good look there at the 48. 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go until our start as we take a look at the last boat here in our field. May not be last for long. Tim Johnson, 24 years old, out of Pasco again, drives the U-91, the Goodman Real Estate. Good look at the boat right there. It's predominantly black, trimmed in gold. The boat is owned by the citizens of Madison, Indiana. Tim would love to have a good showing here today. Tim Johnson, U-91, Goodman Real Estate. Even got a good look there at Mount Rainier as they went down toward the lower end of the race course. A lot of iconic sights here, Tate Meyer. As you look at this race course in Seattle, you've got the floating bridge in the background there. You can see part of the log boom, and I just mentioned Mount Rainier heading down the front straightaway. Coming up on 2 minutes until the start, there's just something special about racing in Seattle.
There's something special about racing in Seattle with all these landmarks. It's such a picturesque place to race hydroplanes at 200 miles an hour. I love going to Seafair every year, and this replicates it to the T. Scott Przybylski did a great job modeling the environment around the Ted Jones race course here on Lake Washington. But Ben Dowell is at that first buoy into the turn. He is going to try to sneak up on the start and troll for lane one. You see, looks to be Scott Przybylski ahead of him, about a buoy or so ahead of him, and then Mickey Washburn back behind Ben Dowell. So you see the boats scoring up. They are going to try to hit the scoring or the score up buoy before that clock hits 1 minute. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 mark. Looks to be a clean score up. Clean score up, we hear from our officials. Clean score up, Brad. First 3 lanes looked to have been claimed, but we'll see about the outside boats. They're all playing nice here in Heat 1A.
They certainly seem to be. It looked like Tim Johnson on the way outside might be able to try and pull a leapfrog, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. And you are correct. Our first 3 lanes are going to get claimed because the lanes they are in now, when they pass that entrance buoy to turn 2, that's the lane they must hold down to the start. Now, with that short straightaway up the backstretch, we're just inside 25 seconds now until the start. These guys are already halfway through the corner, so they're going to scruff off some speed. There you see Ben Dowell. Looks like he's in lane 1, but he is going to be in lane number 2. Still got 15 seconds until the start. It's only about a 9-second run off the top end of the race course down to the line. These guys may have to pull their foot just a little bit because we're still 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. We'll wait and see what we hear from the officials, but it is a clean start and running hard down to the corner in lane number 1. It's Scott Przybylski with the lead. He's going to get down there first. That's an all-important box to check, Tate Meyer. If you're going to be in lane number 1, you better get down to that first turn first. Przybylski did it, and now he is off and running up the backstretch.
Przybylski's off and running. He's already got a rooster tail and a half, maybe a 2 rooster tail lead up the backstretch as they head up to turn number 2. The north corner towards the floating bridge. It's going to be Scott Przybylski who hits the entrance pin first. Following him, it's going to be Tim Johnson on the outside and Ben Dowell in third place as they look to complete lap number 1. And Scott Przybylski puts a lap under his belt in the lead. Tim Johnson in second place.
Yeah, that's where the race is right now. Tim Johnson on the outside has gotten around Ben Dowell for second place. Our leader's way out front, Scott Przybylski, and there you see on the left side of your screen, you got to look at Ben Dowell in the 11, the J&Ds, but there you see on the outside of him is the black and gold boat. Looks like Dowell's getting wet down there in the corner. He was able to stay on the inside lane and come through clean, but I think he got damp down there, and right now it is Tim Johnson up the backstretch in second place. He's now got a full rooster tail lead on Ben Dowell, and Ben Dowell's got a right side rear view mirror full of another boat coming up behind him. We'll check who that is at the top end of the course, but it is all Scott Przybylski in the U7 Boitano Home Spirit of Detroit.
Scott Przybylski's got a 2 Rooster Tail lead. We'll see if Tim Johnson decides to chase him down or not. It is Heat 1A, so 300 points can go a long way towards your total into the final heat. There's Tim Johnson crossing the line now. Here's a great battle for third place. Is Ben Dowell and Mickey Washburn as they head to turn number 1. Let's see if they give each other room.
Yeah, I couldn't see what that boat was that was moving up on Ben Dowell, and you are right. It is Mickey Washburn on the 48 Lake Ridge Paving. Washburn, the young man out of Pasco, Washington, those points are worth fighting for. Third place is worth 225 of them. Our leaders are running 1-2 as Dowell got really loose on the front end. May have had to pull his foot out of it just a little bit, but he's got it back down. He is in third, but he's got a challenge coming up behind him. Washburn, our leader and victor in our Heat 1A. It's going to be Scott Przybylski driving the 7, Boitano Homes, Spirit of Detroit. Second place is going to go to Tim Johnson driving the U91, the Goodman Real Estate. Indeed, Ben Dowell is able to hold on for third place, driving the 11 J&Ds, and Mickey Washburn will come home in fourth, driving the 48, the Lake Ridge Paving. Here comes Nick Kish. I believe he is coming down in fifth place, driving the Strong Racing entry number 2. And our sixth boat started, sixth boat finished. TJ Zerwinski driving the U3. Griggs Ace Hardware, the piston-powered boat, will come home in sixth place. Well, an interesting start to our HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair, but a good start certainly for Scott Przybylski. Got himself a good lane at the start. He was on the inside, but he got down to that first turn first. That's all important.
He did, and Scott nailed the start in lane 1, and he got to turn 1 first. That sealed the deal pretty much from the start, didn't it?
Certainly did. So we'll wait for him to join us up here in the booth as the boats are headed back to the pit area. Heat 1A, just like that, is already in the books. While we await Scott to join us here in the broadcast booth, we'll take this opportunity to remind everyone the H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series is brought to you in part by Spokane Angels Foster Care. Spokane Angels Foster Care, where their unique and powerful Love Box program is changing the way children experience care through intentional giving, relationship building, and mentorship. And by Jesse Stitches, custom embroidery and more in Snohomish, Washington since 1990. Tate, have we found Mr. Przybylski?
I believe we have. Scott, you there?
Hey, yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Scott, Brad Luce here. Well, you know, Bernie Little used to always say, before you can win them all, you have to win the first one. That's certainly a good start to the weekend here on Lake Washington. Good way to start things off. You had lane 1, and you got down to that first turn first and got through it clean, and you were gone at that point.
Yep, yeah, I'm excited to finally have some points at the beginning of a race here. So just hitting that start on time, it's all I needed.
But that's what it's all about in the real racing and in this racing. In these preliminary heats, it's all about getting points and finding your way into that final.
Yep, yeah. Lets me relax a little bit more in the next couple of heats, but need to try and win some more. I'm a little bit further back in the high points, so I want to try and catch up.
Well, and you got the 400 points here in Heat 1A, but it looked real easy from here, but I'm going to imagine you're going to tell me the water conditions are always a challenge here in Seattle.
Yeah, it actually wasn't too bad, but it was a little bit more calm than I've been practicing in, so...
Well, it's a good start to the day, a good start to your weekend here, if you will. Congratulations on a victory in Heat 1A. Go, as you said, take a breath, get a bottle of water, and we'll look for you in the second set of heats. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks to Boitano Homes for sponsoring the boat. And just want to give a thanks to Spokane Angels, TDS Fiber, and Staples for sponsoring the whole event. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Scott Przybylski, Tate Meyer, he said the water conditions were pretty good. I thought he might talk a little bit about some rough water and those rollers off of that log boom. That's just part of the deal here in Seattle. I'm sure it'll get rougher as the day goes on.
It'll get rougher as the day goes on, no doubt about it. And it's rougher than Tri-Cities was last week. They always talk about in real life how they go from the smooth glass water of Tri-Cities to the bathtub soup water, if you will, of Seattle and Seafair, and the wind coming up the Genesee Gap, and all the things that make Seafair a very unique place to race. So we'll see if the wind kicks up maybe later in the day, or the racing conditions get a little rougher. But that Usually at the beginning of the day, Heat 1A or the first heat on Sunday, Brad, is a little bit calmer than the rest, so we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens later in the day. Why don't you check on our countdown here, get us on the clock for our Heat 1B. I'll take this opportunity to remind everyone H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing is brought to you in part by Atomic Screen Printing and Embroidery, a leading Northwest producer of high-quality screen-printed and embroidered products since 1998. And by TDS, a leading high-speed internet provider. TDS offers the fast speeds you need, the reliability you deserve. It's TDS. Tate Meyer, let's go racing. It's Heat 1B.
It's Heat 1B coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
5 minutes. 5 minutes to the start of our Heat 1B. It's the 2021 H1 Unlimited HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. 6 boats in the water. 4 minutes, 45 seconds to the start. 6 boats coming away from the dock. The Stan Sayers Memorial Pit area there, just off Lake Washington Boulevard. For those of you who have never been to Seattle and want to do it, this is a very large body of water, about 15 miles long, from Renton all the way up to Kenmore. We are situated down toward the south end of the lake, not all the way down to Renton, but certainly in the southern third of the lake. Every race in the history of the Seattle Seafair has been run on this particular body of water, but not always at this particular site. The 1974 race was held further up north. It only lasted 1 year, and they came back down to the southern part of the lake. Let's take a look at our boats here in our Heat 1B. You're riding along with Eddie Canfouche, our defending national high points champion. He is driving the U1 Bucket List Racing. Eddie calls home to Grand Island, New York. Eddie Canfouche driving the 1. Here we have the U8 Strong Racing boat number 1 entry. It's the U8. It's driven by the youngster, and when I say youngster, I mean it. He is the youngest of our drivers, Carson Kelly, 11 years old, out of Bonnie Lake, Washington. He's a rookie this year, and if you think because he's a rookie and only 11 years old, he can't handle his boat, you better watch out. This kid's going to be something special, and he already is. Looking further at our field, we have the other orange boat, Bucket List Racing 2, the U440, driven by Bo Rarig. Bo calls home to Monroe, Washington. He's 28 years of age. Bo was a winner in our season opening race down in Guntersville, Alabama. Bo Rarig, Bucket List Racing 2. There's the U98, the red, white, and blue, Graham Trucking, American Dream. Matt Johnson, the driver. He calls home to Port Angeles, Washington. He is 30 years of age. One of these days, Tate Meyer, he's going to break through with a victory. This boat has been extremely fast, and Matt is getting better and better at handling it. Could today be his day? Coming up on 2 minutes and 30 seconds to the start. Here's our top qualifier for the weekend. Kelsey Best driving the U6, the Miss HomeStreet. What a thrill it would be to win the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. He doesn't dare think about that right now. He's just got to get a clean start here in our Heat 1B. Kelsey was born in Redmond, Washington, but now calls home to Mesa, Arizona. Kelsey Best, 33 years of age, driving the Miss HomeStreet. There he is, looking for Quentin Miller, and there he is. Quentin Miller driving the U12, the predominantly red Graham Trucking hydroplane. It is trimmed in black and silver. Quentin Miller lives on Mercer Island, Washington, which he's looking right at there, straight ahead of him. That is Mercer Island, for those of you not familiar with the Seattle area. So he is from Mercer Island, looking at his house over there. Quentin is 26 years of age. He is a very consistent driver and a very consistent boat. He was our second place finisher in 2020 National High Points. Coming up on 30 seconds till the 1 minute mark, you cannot pass the exit pin of turn number 1 prior to that 1 minute mark. Tate Meyer, count us down to the score up buoy.
Got 22 seconds to the 1 minute pin at the exit of turn number 1, the big yellow buoy. Not that one, but the other one off to the right. We see Eddie Canfouche and Matt Johnson trailing the field. Matt Johnson doing his patented leapfrog maneuver, as he does so often in our races. Brad, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Looked clean to me. We'll see clean score up from the officials, and look at that up the backstretch, Brad. Matt Johnson's going to have a ton of boat speed, but will he have enough to leapfrog the field? It doesn't look like it.
Oh, it doesn't look like he's going to do, although he's going to come over on Eddie. Is he? Yes, he did.
Yes, he
came
is.
over on Eddie, and he's going to get Bo as well. In fact, he's going to find his way all the way into lane number 3. But look at the clock. He's 35 seconds. He got up there at the top end of the race course. Wow, that was quite the run down the backstretch. Quentin Miller has got the Graham Trucking in lane number 1. I believe it is. I thought Kelsey Best had lane 2 in the HomeStreet. I believe he does. He's going to come up there behind the field. There he goes, poke himself into lane 2. And then it was Matt Johnson with a great leapfrog up the backstretch, going to be in lane number 3, coming up on 10 seconds until the start. On the inside, it's Quentin Miller. Got to have a lot of boat speed when you get to the start-finish line, and you want to be right there with 1 second mark. And we are racing here in Heat 1B of the 2021 HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. The start was clean. Matt Johnson's going to get down there first in lane number 3. He's got traffic off to his left, and it's getting tight down there in lanes 1 and 2. Oh, my goodness, Kelsey, he's going to come through clean, but I wasn't sure he was going to make it. I mentioned Matt Johnson showed a lot of speed lately. He's showing everybody a lot of speed right now from lane 3 up the backstretch, Tate. He's flying the boat.
He's flying the boat with a rooster tail lead over Carson Kelly, it looks like, on his outside. So Matt Johnson's got to leave a lane on the inside for Quentin Miller, but not anymore. He's a rooster tail ahead. He can come over. Oh, we got a wreck between Carson Kelly and Quentin Miller in the turn. That will be under review. We will see what the result is from that incident. But Matt Johnson leads at the end of lap number 1. Katie Canfouche in second. Bo Rarig in third.
Bo Rarig in third. So you got Team Orange right now, the 2 orange boats running number 2 and number 3. I was interested to watch the start and see exactly where Eddie Canfouche was going to go last week on that bigger race course over in the Tri-Cities. He loved running in lane number 2. He won every time he got there. This time he was forced to a further lane on the outside, and Matt Johnson was able to get the jump on him. I don't know if Eddie's going to be able to run down the speedy red, white, and blue Graham Trucking American Dream off the top end of the race course, coming down to put lap number 2 of 3 in the books. It is Matt Johnson out of Port Angeles driving for Rob Graham, the U98 Graham Trucking American Dream. 2 up, 2 down, 1 to go. He's on the final lap, Tate.
He's on the final lap. He's got a rooster tail lead over Eddie Canfouche, who has a rooster tail lead over Bo Rarig. So we have a kind of a processional end to 1B, but I don't think Eddie or Bo want to push it too hard and risk losing these 300 or 225 points, as Matt Johnson with 400 points looking at him in the face as he crosses the start-finish line at the exit of this turn, Brad. Heat 1B.
Yep, top end of the race course. Heat 1B, he stands to be our winner if he can complete that corner and come down the straightaway one more time. He's off the corner clean. Just got to keep it on the water and bring it down, and the young man will claim first place and 400 points in Heat 1B of the 2021 HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. Eddie Canfouche will come home in second place. Bo Rarig in third as Team Orange claims positions 2 and 3. Quentin Miller is going to come across the finish line here in fourth place, but we're still waiting to hear from the officials on what occurred up at the top end of the race course. We'll get official word here shortly if there were any calls made, but I think either way it was clean for Matt Johnson in the Graham Trucking American Dream. A good run.
A good run, and unfortunately we've heard from the officials that Quentin Miller will be disqualified for that incident up there in the north turn for taking out Carson Kelly in the U8. My apologies. So Quentin Miller doesn't get any points in that heat. This should be disappointing, and he'll look to be rebounding here in the subsequent heats. But Matt Johnson nailed it on the outside with your leapfrog maneuver, as you traditionally like to do. Well done.
Thank you. It's good to finally get one.
Hey, Brad Luce here. Was there any question in your mind as you went up the backstretch if you had enough room for an overlap? Tate and I were talking. We weren't sure. We thought it was close, but once you decided to come over, you got a bunch of lanes.
Yeah, it was. I know that, the momentum is huge with this new version of the game, and having that momentum coming out of that turn at the score up is, it's a huge advantage. So I knew I'd have a shot. I wasn't sure I'd get as many lanes as I did, but really happy with that. Big shout out to my spotter Nick for kind of telling me where everybody was so I could move over, and it paid off. So really happy with that.
And while it looked like it was a very easy win for Tate and I sitting here watching on the screen, you were behind the wheel, and I imagine there is never time to relax when you look in that right side mirror and you got Eddie Canfouche coming up behind you.
Oh yeah, he will never. He's not gonna let you relax. So, yeah, I mean, you got to be on point the whole time. Eddie is obviously, the guy to beat here, and I'm ecstatic to get one on him, and hopefully we can get a couple more.
Well, when it came to Heat 1B, you were the guy to beat. So congratulations. It's a good start to the day's racing. We'll look for you in the second set of heats, but 400 points right out of the box, that's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, thank you. I gotta thank sponsors. I mean, thank you, Rob Graham, for giving me the opportunity to drive your boat. Huge thanks to Spokane Angels. Shout out to all the kids watching. I know you guys have watch parties for these, so hope you guys are enjoying the racing so far. Thank you to TDS, Fiber, Staples, Atomic Screen Printing, Woodshed Embroidery, all the sponsors. Like, it's awesome. We really appreciate you guys, so thank you.
Matt, we appreciate you. Thank you. The H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series is brought to you in part by Staples of Spokane. Staples, where they go the extra mile for your office needs. And by Orca Scuba Center in Wenatchee, Washington. A member of the Professional Association of Diving Instructors, Orca offers a full range of snorkeling and scuba courses along with all the equipment you need for your next adventure. And by Woodshed Embroidery in Spokane for all your embroidery and vinyl needs to include shirts, hats, jackets, patches, and more. It's Woodshed Embroidery in Spokane. Well, good racing in our Heat 1A and 1B, but just like that, Tate Meyer, we've already moved through. We are ready to go racing here in our Heats 2A and 2B.
We are indeed. The heat draws have been drawn, and they are as follows. Heat 2A, U1 Bucket List Racing, U9 Strong Racing 2, U11 J&Ds, U12 Graham Trucking, U91 Goodman Real Estate, and U440 Bucket List Racing 2. Heat 2B, U3 Griggs Ace Hardware, U6 Miss HomeStreet, U7 Boitano Homes, U8 U-Tron Racing 1, the 48 Lake Ridge Paving, and the U98 our winner of Heat 1B, Graham Trucking American Dream, Matt Johnson. That Heat 1B was a very, very stacked heat, Brad. That was a lot of talent in that heat.
There was an awful lot of talent in that heat, and we're going to put our two race winners so far today together in our Heat 2B. This time around, Eddie Canfouche has got a quick turnaround after that second place finish in 1B. We'll find him here in our Heat 2A. Eddie, as I mentioned during that last heat of racing, loved lane 2 over in the Tri-Cities. He was on an outside lane in that last heat. We'll see if he doesn't change his strategy up here a little bit. Heat 2A is on deck. Tate Meyer, put us on the clock. It's the 2021 HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair.
On the clock, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Heat 2A, 5 minutes.
5 minutes, Heat 2A, 2021 HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. You see the boats in the water. Great look there from water level, looking through the actual finger piers there at Team Orange as they come away from the dock. Got the two bucket list racing boats in this heat together. Here comes Quentin Miller again. Ben Dowell is away. Looks like we've got Tim Johnson and the Goodman Real Estate there, the furthest boat away from us. We'll get them out on the water. Tate Meyer will change the camera angles. We'll ride along and show you again who is in our Heat 2A. And we start with the U11, the J&Ds, driven by Ben Dowell out of Nashville, Tennessee, looking for a good run here. He would like to have a strong showing. Ben calls this home for him. He's originally from Tacoma. Riding along right now with Bo Rarick. Bo out of Monroe, Washington. He'll handle the driving chores for the U440 Bucket List Racing 2. This boat is predominantly orange. You can distinguish this boat from teammate Eddie Canfouche's boat. This one predominantly orange, so is Eddie's, but Eddie's has got a lot of black on it. In fact, that was Eddie you saw just behind him there. There's Eddie Canfouche's boat. You see him there. We ride along with Eddie here. Now you see the predominantly orange boat trimmed in yellow and black. Eddie Canfouche, he is our defending national high points champion, the young man out of Grand Island, New York. He was a winner 2 weeks ago in the Tri-Cities. Love to back it up with a win here on the hometown of owners Kelly and Sharon Stockland. Here is Quentin Miller, drives the U12, the Graham Trucking. Unfortunately got disqualified in our previous heat, so he's looking for a good showing here in Heat 2A. He calls Mercer Island home, and as he did last time, he's looking right at home. That's what he's looking at there outside the front of that boat. Quentin Miller driving the 12, the Graham Trucking. Here is the Strong Racing 2 entry. Nick Kish from Rochester Hills, Michigan. Another of our rookies on the circuit this year. This is the U9. Driving the boat for Daryl and Vanessa Strong out of the Tri-Cities. Nick Kish driving the U9, Strong Racing 2. And he is so far choosing not to participate in the park and start as we ride along now with Tim Johnson, 24-year-old out of Pasco, Washington, driving the 91, the Goodman Real Estate. Love the color scheme on this boat, predominantly black trimmed in gold. We've seen some black and gold boats in the past, not a lot of them, but names come to mind like 88 Degree Men or perhaps the Mr. Fabricator from back in 1973 with Tommy Kaufman, Budweiser Malt Liquor. It's a good color scheme together, the black and the gold. I like that one, Tate.
I do too, Brad. Budweiser Malt Liquor was a very, very sharp looking boat, but the Goodman Real Estate is going to pop out on the water when it gets to debut itself in front of the fans of H1 Unlimited. So Eddie Canfouche, with about 45 seconds left, crosses the start-finish line. We have Bo Rarig, his teammate, up here right in front of Ben Dowell in turn number 1. All 3 of these boats have shut their motors off, Brad. That's something you can do again in this game, in this version, updated version that we got in Tri-Cities. You can shut the boat off, and it is a lake, so you kind of stay put for a while. You don't shift down the river like we had in Tri-Cities. So 20 seconds, you can start your boat up about now, and we'll see if Nick or Tim wants to leapfrog or is successful in the leapfrog. Obviously, they want to. We've got about 10 seconds. It looks like Nick Kish is very, very early. We'll see if he gets there before the 1 minute pin. 2, 1, mark. It looked clean to me, Brad. Clean score up from our official as they head up the backstretch. Does anybody have anything on the outside? It looked like it might be Tim Johnson. He's clear of Nick Kish, but I don't think he's clear of anybody else. So it'll be Quentin, Bo, Ben, and Eddie. Lanes 1, 2, 3, and 4.
1, 2, 3, and 4. That's it. Nobody came off that lower corner with a lot of boat speed to do anything dramatic like moving over and doing the leapfrog. So that's the way they are going to be, the way you called them. Just as they got to the entrance pin to that upper corner, the boat on the far left there, that's the orange trimmed in black. That is Eddie Canfouche. We mentioned he liked lane 2. He's going to run this one in lane 4. Ben Dowell comes very close to him to say hello. Now they'll square up and come off the top end of the race course. Now it is all about your timing marks. Can you put your boat on the start-finish line when the clock ticks 0 and with a carload of boat speed? We are coming up on 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1, mark. And we're racing here in our Heat 2A of the 2021 HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. Ben Dowell in lane number 3 is going to get down here with the team. It is Tim Johnson on the outside in the Goodman Real Estate that got down there first, but he was in lane number 5. Look at this coming off the corner, Tate. You got 5 of them running side by side. A great look down the race course, and look at the speed that Tim Johnson is showing in that 91 Goodman Real Estate. He is in lane 5, and he is hanging with the rest of these guys. This is great racing at the top end of the race course.
There's still 4 wide at the exit pin of the north corner here, Brad. Looks like Tim's going to lose a little bit of momentum being in lane 5, but it looks like Bo Rarig is going to lead the first lap here on Lake Washington. It was a clean start, so all of these boats are racing each other as they head down to the south turn, Brad.
And I just answered a question I had. I was wondering, where was Eddie Canfouche? He is in lane number 4, driving down the hallway. That's the last boat you see down there in the corner. Fast Eddie's got himself in a hole, and I don't know if he's going to be able to drive his way out of it. But up the backstretch, teammate Oh, Rarig driving the 440 Bucket List Racing is rocking and rolling in front of that famous log boom, flying the right sponson as he sets the boat up at the top end. He really had it out of the water, but he knows he's got to run hard. He has got Quentin Miller off to his left and on the inside with a shorter way around the race course. He also knows that Quentin Miller is really hungry for 400 points after not getting any in the previous heat, so he knows Quentin's going to keep coming, but Bo Rarig so far has been able to hold him off. He's doing it from lane 2. Bucket List looks really strong, Tate.
They look really strong, and back in the pack, you still got Eddie fighting Tim Johnson for 4th place, and then Bo up there fighting for 1st. So Bucket List Racing's got a lot of competition on their hands as Quentin Miller still hangs on in lane 1 by about a rooster tail. We'll see if he tries to push it or hangs on to those 300, and we'll see what the result is of the battle for 4th behind Ben Dowell in 3rd. Bo Rarig through the corner first, then Quentin Miller, Ben Dowell, and Eddie takes the 4th place from Tim Johnson as they exit the turn, Brad. Looks like Bo Rarig's
here
going to
they
be
come
winner.
down to pick up the checkered flag. Bo Rarig is going to come home in 1st place. We'll get the scoring behind him. It's Quentin Miller's going to come home in 2nd place. Ben Dowell will come home 3rd, and look at that. Eddie Canfouche was able to catch and pass Tim Johnson for 4th place overall. Tim will come home in 5th place, and then it'll be Nick Kish coming home in 6th. If our first couple of heats of the day were not the most competitive ones we've had, that one was excellent racing right there. We had on that first lap, Tate Meyer, we had 5 wide going down the backstretch, and even up in turn 2 on lap 1, they were still 4 wide up there. They remained that way most of the time through the heat. That was a dandy.
That was a awesome heat, and Bo Rarig led them all to turn 1 first. Bo, 5 wide at the exit pin. What were you feeling heading up the backstretch?
My goodness, I'm telling you, this new build is awesome. The competition's never been better. Going 5 wide, I was such a nervous wreck, but we got through that all clean, and it was a great race.
Bo, Brad Luce here. You had boats on your left, boats on your right. You had rear mirrors full of boats everywhere. You just kept flying the boat. It got way out of the water a couple of times. I was holding my breath, hoping you could hold it on the water. You did. You picked up the 400 points. That's as an exciting a heat of racing as I've seen in the E-League, maybe ever. That was fabulous.
It was. I admittedly, I lost it a couple. I almost lost it a couple times. Like I said, with this new build, the transom is picked up out of the water now, so the boats actually behave like real boats. And yeah, I can't wait to see where the game goes from here. And like I said earlier, competition has never been better, and it's gonna only get better from here. We're gonna speed up these heats along here, so I'll make this quick and short. I gotta thank Jesse Stitches, Orca Scuba Center, Spokane Angels Foster Care, Staples, TDS Fiber. I also gotta thank Kelly and Sharon Stockland for bringing me on to drive the 440 in the H1 Limited E-League. Hope you guys had fun watching that one.
We did, Bo. Thank you very much. We'll look for him in our 3rd section of heats. H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series is brought to you in part by the Spokane Angels Foster Care, where it is their stated mission to walk alongside children, youth, and families in the foster care community by offering consistent support through intentional giving, relationship building, and mentorship. And by Jesse Stitches, custom embroidery and more in Snohomish, Washington since 1990. Also like to take this opportunity, Tate Meyer, to remind our listeners and our viewers today that H1 Unlimited is a proud club of the American Powerboat Association, the national authority for boat racing in the United States. The APBA is a member-driven organization established in 1903 and headquartered in East Point, Michigan. For more information on the American Powerboat Association, head over to www.apba.org. That's www.apba.org. Tate Meyer, I do not know if we can top what we just saw in Heat 2A, but we've got some fast competition at least scheduled to come in Heat 2B. Let's put this on the water and see another one of those heats. I'm ready.
I can't wait. I love a good heat of boat racing, Brad. Heat 2B is coming up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Heat 2B on the clock.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. Heat 2B, reminding everybody this is the 2021 virtual HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. It is part of the H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series presented by Spokane Angels Foster Care. In the foreground there, coming away from the dock, you see young Carson Kelly behind the wheel. He didn't score a lot of points, got a 4th place finish in his first heat of the day. That would have been Heat 1B. He's looking for a stronger finish here in our Heat 2B, but he's going to have his hands full. That was him we were just riding along with, Carson Kelly, the 11-year-old out of Bonnie Lake, Washington. There is his boat right there. That looks to be Scott Przybylski. Yes, it is, driving the 7, the Boitano Home Spirit of Detroit. Scott, the 35-year-old out of San Diego, California. He was a winner already today in our Heat 1A, picked up 400 points. He'd love to do it again. This boat was the winner at the Seattle Seafair in 2020. Piston Power is aboard the U3 Go3 Racing Griggs Ace Hardware. It's driven by TJ Zerwinski. He also has probably the largest fan following on the beach and around the country because everyone loves Piston Power. TJ Zerwinski in Tonawanda, New York. The U3 Griggs Ace Hardware. Here's another of our early heat winners, Matt Johnson, driving the 98 Graham Trucking American Dream. Red, white, and blue, nice patriotic color scheme here. Matt out of Port Angeles, Washington, had a good run in the first heat of the day. He picked up 400 points in our Heat 1B. He'd love to pick up another 400, but he's not going to do anything silly about it. He's got to just score well and make his way into the final. Looking now at the Miss HomeStreet, Kelsey Best. Young man out of Mesa, Arizona, was born in Redmond, Washington, so this is a trip home for him. He would love to win the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair driving the Miss HomeStreet. 2 minutes and 50 seconds until our start. There's Mickey Washburn going by in the 48. We'll climb on board with Mickey. The Lake Ridge Paving, U48, Mickey out of the Tri-Cities area, Pasco to be specific. He drives the predominantly white boat with the black and white checks on the fairings. There's a good look at that boat. U48, Lake Ridge Paving, and Mickey Washburn. 2:28 until the start, Tate. Now the fun begins, and it's we saw before Mickey Washburn in that earlier heat driving the red, white, and blue. He didn't want to get involved in the park and start. Doesn't look like he's going to do it again here in our Heat 2B.
I don't think he will. I don't think TJ will. I don't think Matt will, just based on previous experiences and how they like to play the game. But these three right here, Carson, Kelsey, and Scott, they are exactly where I thought they would be, right at the apex buoy of turn number 1 with their boat shut off, fighting for lane 1. Now here comes Mickey coming out of the north corner. You see the floating bridge there in the background with 48 seconds left, and TJ and Matt are playing a little bit of cat and mouse at the backstretch. But Brad, we'll see if lane 1 plays a bigger role in these subsequent heats. They haven't. It's been whoever's got to lane 1 or turn 1 first, no matter what lane they have been in, which is always true in real life boat racing when we get to that point. So this new build and seeing these drivers replicate real life boat racing is pretty awesome.
And we should add here very quickly, the reason the drivers are able to do this park and start is because we are not able to monitor the boats for 80 miles an hour. So we have reverted back to this start procedure with a score up buoy. We're 3 seconds, 2, 1, mark. Look to be clean. Tate, let me know when you hear it officially. But up the backstretch here, it was a clean score up. So now we'll see if anybody can make a move. The only boat that's jumped out there is TJ Zerwinski in the piston powered, but I don't think he's got enough speed or real estate. He does not to move over. So it is going to be Carson Kelly in lane 1. Kelsey Best is going to be in 2. Przybylski's going to be in 3. Matt Johnson in lane number 4. So the young man, Carson Kelly, the rookie this year out of Bonnie Lake, Washington, has got his strong racing number 1 entry on lane 1. Now it's a matter of being right on time at the start-finish line. The guys are coming slow off the top end of the race course. Mickey Washburn's going to try and wind it up and come out wide. Look at Kelsey Best in lane 2. He's now starting to come down with the accelerator. Coming up on 10 seconds to the start. Kelsey Best has got the lead, but you got to be on the line when the clock strikes 0. We're inside 5 seconds. We are 3 3, 2, 1, mark. Racing here in Heat 2B at the 2021 HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. Look at Matt Johnson on the far outside. I thought he was going to get down there first, but no, it was Scott Przybylski in the 7. He is in lane number 3. Kelsey Best is in 2, and tucked inside there is Carson Kelly. Again, we're coming 4 wide down the backstretch. You lose Carson Kelly, but he is on the inside with the shortest way around the race course. But you are dead even out front. That is Scott Przybylski in the red boat, and outside of him is Matt Johnson. Inside of him, Kelsey Best in the Miss HomeStreet. Great racing at the top end of the race course. Keep an eye on Carson Kelly on that inside lane. There he is in there. We're not getting to see him very much, but he is there. And Kelsey Best so far has been leaving him a lane. He's got the short way around. We'll see if he can run down our leaders. It is Best, Przybylski, and Johnson. 1, 2, 3 at the completion of lap number 1, Tate.
Completion of lap number 1. Kelsey Best doesn't leave a lot of room for Carson Kelly in there, but Carson's holding on to lane 1 and now he's going to go out to lane 3. But Kelsey Best ahead of Scott Przybylski, ahead of Matt Johnson. I'm pretty sure Kelsey had an overlap on Carson Kelly there, so I don't think we're going to be anticipating a penalty. But still, 3 boats within a rooster tail up the backstretch on lap 2 of 3 as they hit the north corner. Not the Rooster Tail corner, the Floating Bridge corner here in Seattle on the Ted Jones race course. Kelsey Best hits the exit pin first. Scott Przybylski right behind him. We'll see if Scott wants to take a gamble and try to run him down. It looks like he's trying to at the end of lap number 2, starting the final lap, Brad.
Yeah, Scott Przybylski in second place right there was a winner in a preliminary heat earlier in the day, so 300 points has got to look pretty good to him. He is not going to take or let Kelsey Best out of his sights, however, but I don't think he'll push it too hard. I think he'll just make sure he defends his position against Matt Johnson, who is coming up behind him. There is Matt right there driving that 98 Graham trucking, but right now, oh, the people at HomeStreet Bank and their hospitality suite have got to be cheering right now because their boat at the top end of the race course, Kelsey Best, is going to come down if he can just hold off the last part of this lap. He's already completed the final corner. He will come down and pick up a checkered flag at 400 points in our Heat 2B. It's the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair, and the winner of Heat 2B is Miss HomeStreet. Doesn't get much better than that. Scott Przybylski will come home in second. Matt Johnson will come home in third. I believe that is Mickey Washburn. Is he back in fourth place?
He is in fourth. Unfortunately, we lost Carson Kelly in the first turn of lap number 3, so he doesn't score any points for subsequent heats because he crashed in the first heat too. So fourth place to Mickey Washburn, fifth place to TJ Serwinski, but Kelsey Best got to turn 1, not really first, but among the first group, and he put his boat in first place.
And that is 400 very big points for Kelsey Best. I'm sure he's going to be feeling much better after a fourth place finish in Heat 1B. Kelsey Best has now got to be feeling better. He certainly wants to have a good showing at the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. We will wait and see when Kelsey joins us here in the broadcaster's booth and hear from the young man.
Looks like we have Kelsey now. Kelsey, you got to turn 1 among the first group, but you managed to extend your lead up the backstretch. Congratulations on that heat win.
Yeah, thanks, Brad. Thanks, Tate. It feels really good. It's the first heat I've finished in this new build of the game. It's been a rough little stretch for me. But yeah, I was very, very happy with how that heat went. The heat before, I kind of lifted at the start when I shouldn't have, and that made for a really bad turn 1 and a worse turn 2. But yeah, it was a good heat overall, and glad to get the 400 points. I needed them.
Somewhere up and down Lake Washington Boulevard there, Kelsey, there is a very large HomeStreet Bank rooting session and hospitality suite. Could you hear them yelling when you came off that final corner?
Well, the virtual fans are just as loud as the real fans by my ears. But yeah, it's obviously great to put on a good display, get a good result for HomeStreet Bank, as well as our team and the Citizens Madison, Indiana that support it. I want to do a big thank you to my family. I'm over in Palm Springs this weekend. My brother and sister-in-law we're doing a gender reveal for them. They're welcoming their second baby here in a few months, and so taking a little bit of time away to do this, but just wanted to say thanks to them, and as well as thanks to our sponsors, Spokane Angels Foster Care, TDS Fiber, Woodshed Embroidery, Staples, Atomic Screen Printing. Just awesome to see we have so many sponsors and people interested in liking this show we're trying to put on.
You guys keep running heats like that, and the sponsors and the fans will keep growing. Congratulations, Kelsey. Enjoy your weekend. But right now, enjoy your racing. You just got 400 points toward making it in the final. We'll look for you in the third section.
Thank you, guys.
H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series is brought to you in part by Atomic Screen Printing and Embroidery, a leading Northwest producer of high-quality screen-printed and embroidered products since 1998. And by TDS, the very best internet for how we live, work, and play. And by Staples of Spokane, Washington. Staples, going the extra mile for your home office needs. Staples. Tate Meyer, that was pretty darn good stuff right there. Our Heat 2B did not disappoint. 2A was a dandy. Heat 2 was darn good. I'm ready to see what we can do for our third section of heats. Have you got a draw we can review here?
Here's our draw for Heat 3A and 3B, the last chance to get points to get into the final on your cumulative points total for the day. You'll have the provisional if you don't get that opportunity. But the U1 Bucket List Racing Eddie Canfouche will go up against the U3 Griggs Ace Hardware and the U8 Strong Racing 1, the U11 J&Ds, U91 Miss Goodman Real Estate, and U98 Graham Trucking American Dream. Heat 3B, the U6 Miss HomeStreet, the U7 Boitano Homes, U9 Strong Racing 2, U12 Graham Trucking, U48 Lake Ridge Paving, and the U440 Bucket List Racing. Brad, this should be a very good final flight of heats. We've had great racing throughout the day. I shouldn't expect anything different from this final flight. So let's get these boats on the clock for Heat 3A. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. 3A is on the clock.
5 minutes. 3A is on the clock. Thank you, Tate Meyer. Inside 5 minutes. Coming up on 4:50 to the start. 6 boats set to answer the call here for our Heat 3A. Some have had better days than others. They're in the foreground. Do you see the red and silver boat of Strong Racing? The driver, Carson Kelly, young man out of Bonnie Lake, has had a tough day today. He would like nothing better than to come out here right now and show everybody he means business and pick up a 400-point first place finish. But he's going to have his hands full. One of the guys he's going to have to deal with is right there, the red, white, and blue, the Graham Trucking American Dream, Matt Johnson. He's had a good day. He's got a first place finish and a third place finish on the day. Matt is somebody everybody's going to have to deal with before the day is done. Look for Matt to run strong and consistent, but not do anything silly here. He's on the road to the final heat. Matt Johnson, U98. Look for this guy, Eddie Canfouche, U1 defending national high points champion. He's got a 4th place finish and a 3rd place finish on the day. Hasn't been what we're used to seeing out of Eddie Canfouche, but this guy, he can jump up and bite you at any time. If he gets the right lane and he's got clean water, you'll have your hands full driving around fast, Eddie. Here we have TJ Zerwinski's ride. 50-year-old out of Tonawanda, New York. He's a rookie on the season, but he's been handling that U3, Go3 Racing Griggs Ace Hardware very well. It's piston powered. He's got a lot of fans wherever he goes. He'd love to give him 400 points right here in our Heat 3A. There's the black and gold Goodman Real Estate, Tim Johnson, young man out of Pasco. The boat is U91. He's got a 5th place finish and a 2nd place finish on the day. Tim would like to have a strong 1st or 2nd place finish right here to ensure himself a spot in the final. Look for Tim to drive really hard in this one. Looking there at the U11, the J&Ds, Ben Dowell behind the wheel. He's got a couple of 3rd place finishes on the day, doing quite well. Ben out of Nashville, Tennessee, but I mention it every time. He's originally from Tacoma, so this is a trip home for Ben Dowell. Would love to have a victory here, if even in a preliminary heat. He'd love to win here on Lake Washington. Coming up on 2:30 to the start, there is our strong racing entry. This is strong racing number 1. It is the U8. Carson Kelly had a rough day. The young man here, second place finisher a week ago over in the Tri-Cities, but it hasn't gone well for him today. Look for him to drive really hard in this one and show everybody he means business. He can handle his race boat. Carson Kelly. Coming up on 2 minutes, Tate Meyer. We got a fast field in this one. Some guys need points more than others. Others are in pretty good shape and might play it a little bit more conservatively. But when it comes to running conservative, I'm not sure Eddie Canfouche knows what that word means. Look for him to charge for the front.
Yeah, nobody right now has officially locked themselves into the final heat starting Heat 3A, so we'll see if anybody, I'm assuming everybody's going to go 100% here in Heat 3A. It looks like Eddie Canfouche is going to pull up to the entrance pin of turn number 1, the south corner here on Lake Washington, with 30 seconds left until the 1-minute pin. We'll see where the other boats are. They're coming out of the north corner, the floating bridge corner, with 20 seconds left. So we have 3 boats parked and 3 boats trying to do the leapfrog maneuver. We're at 14 seconds, 13 seconds. Remember, that 1,000-foot less of a backstretch makes a huge difference with trying to pull off that leapfrog maneuver, Brad. We're 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm assuming it's very clean. Carson Kelly's going to have lane 1. Eddie Canfouche maybe has lane 2. He has lane 2 now. He can take it from Ben Dowell, and Matt Johnson has lane 3. So it looks like Ben Dowell's going to have to go all the way out to lane 4. If he wants to slot in anywhere. Scoring up, he might get it. There he goes into lane 4.
Yeah, I thought for a minute he was going to dive out there when you first mentioned it out to lane 4, but then he realized Eddie really hadn't come over on him yet. And that lane 2 was still open there for a couple of moments. He hesitated, but then Eddie came in and took the lane 2 away, so Ben went to the outside. So lane 1 is going to be Carson Kelly. Lane number 2 is going to be Eddie Canfouche. Lane number 3 is going to be Matt Johnson. We're coming up on 10 seconds until the start. Kelly's in 1. Canfouche is in 2. It's Johnson in 3. Dowell in 4. Inside 5 seconds. We're 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 mark. And it is Matt Johnson with a good start. Tim Johnson on the far outside with a Goodman Real Estate's got a lot of boat speed. He's going to get down to the lower corner first. He's out in lane number 5. Oh, we saw this in an earlier heat, Tate. This could be wild coming out of this lower corner. They could be 3 and 4 wide. Great looking shot down the backstretch. It is Tim Johnson on the outside, and I mean the far outside, running hard with a lot of air underneath that black and gold Goodman Real Estate. U91 just off to his left is the red, white, blue 98 of Matt Johnson. This is good racing. Look at Carson Kelly hang right on the buoy row. And again, Eddie Canfouche is in a tough spot driving between 2 boats. He's driving down the hallway, Tate. That's a tough spot for the young man to be.
It's a very tough spot for the young man. We got the brothers Matt and Tim Johnson crossing the start-finish line together. Matt Johnson's in first, and unfortunately, Brad, Tim Johnson jumped the gun, so he is not in second place. It's going to be a battle between Carson Kelly and Eddie Canfouche, 2 of the youngest kids in this E-League Racing Series battling, but Matt Johnson is walking away up the backstretch.
This Matt Johnson, I said at the outset that I thought this guy was poised to have himself a good day, and so far he's having a beauty. But you ask him about it, and he's going to say, all I know is there is potentially the 2 of the better drivers in the future of our sport, both virtual and real, in his left side rear view mirror. Eddie Canfouche and Carson Kelly are not going to let him have it easy, but Matt flies the boat. The 98 got way out of the water. Look at this racing still here on lap number 3. This is the final lap, Tate. This is going to be a good run to the checkered flag. It is not over yet.
It's not over yet, and Matt Johnson still has a half rooster lead over Eddie Canfouche. Let's see how this corner turns out. Eddie might have the advantage up here in the north corner. He's catching up the backstretch. We'll see if Matt holds a consistent arc. He has to. Keeps Eddie in tight. Maybe scrubs off Eddie's speed a little bit. Matt Johnson hits the exit pin first. Can he hold off Eddie?
We're going to find out. So far, he's come through the corner clean. He's got about 1,000 feet to go, and it's going to go to Matt Johnson, the 98. Graham Trucking, American Dream, first place finish in our Heat 3A. Eddie Canfouche in the Bucket List Racing, 1 entry, will come home in second place. Carson Kelly will come home in third. Ben Dowell will be our fourth place finisher. TJ Zerwinski driving the Griggs Ace Hardware, the piston boat, will come home in fifth place. And unfortunately, we had a disqualification, or he will come home in sixth place. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. He'll have a 1-lap penalty, he being Tim Johnson, for jumping the gun.
Yep, 1-lap penalty for jumping the gun. Simple to remember. Tim Johnson, unfortunately, was just a tick too early. He had a ton of boat speed on the outside.
Oh.
He nailed that start, but unfortunately, he was just a tick too early, and his brother, Matt Johnson, gets another heat win. Crazy, crazy set of racing. I'm loving this racing, Brad.
It is absolutely fabulous. This new build is so competitive, and you're hearing the drivers talk about it. They're getting better and better and more comfortable with it. This is really something special. Matt Johnson on the day, a first place, a third place, and now another first place. He'll trade them all for a first place finish in the final. We shall see. Is it going to be Matt Johnson's day? You see him coming back to the pit area cleanly in the final heat. But that was a doozy. You and I had a conversation before we came on the air, Tate Meyer, and you used the term Donnybrook. I think we just had a Donnybrook. That was a good one.
Yes, we did. And that's a shout out to our friend Jeff Ayler there in Madison using the Donnybrook phrase. But it looks like we got Carson Kelly, our third place winner, in the announcer's booth. Carson, you had a tight hallway to drive inside of Matt and Eddie. How did that feel coming around the Seafair course?
Usually I'm up there with them, but this time I just didn't have as fast of a setup, and they're just really good drivers, so yeah, that was a good heat.
It's been Carson, you got Brad Luce here. It's been a little bit of a difficult day for you here so far, but as you know, I don't have to explain it to you. You're going to have good days, better days, and worse days. It's all a part of racing. How exciting is it to drive this boat and race on basically your home waters there on Lake Washington in Seattle?
Exciting, but I know I'm not going to be able to go in the final, and I can make it, maybe win the Connie and get the trailer position, but yeah. One more thing. I would like to thank all of our sponsors, Spokane Angels, TDS, Staples, Atomic, Green Printing, Woodshed, and can't say the rest of it. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, I'd just like to thank all of them.
Well, Carson Kelly, we would like to thank you. You've been part of a terrific show so far. You're not done. Good luck in the Provisional. We'll look for you to put that U8 out front. Carson Kelly, ladies and gentlemen, and you might just want to write that name down somewhere. I got a hunch down the road you're going to hear from that young man, and not only in the virtual racing. The H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series is brought to you in part by Orca Scuba Center in Wenatchee, Washington. A member of the Professional Association of Diving Instructors, Orca offers a full range of snorkeling and scuba courses, along with all the equipment you need for your next adventure. Find them at orcascubacenter.com. And by Woodshed Embroidery in Spokane for all your embroidery and vinyl needs, to include shirts, hats, jackets, patches, and more. It's Woodshed Embroidery in Spokane. Tate Meyer, that was another dandy, and we've got one more preliminary heat to go before we go to our provisional and then on to our winner-take-all final. Last opportunity for boats to get points. It's our Heat 3B of the 2021 HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair.
It's Heat 3B. It's the last chance to get points before the final, Brad, and we've got some permutations, if you will, trying to get into the final heat with these participants here. We'll pull up the scorecard. We'll have Matt Johnson with the only boat over 1,000 points. We have Eddie Canfush with 809. He's in second. Scott Przbilski at 780. He is in third. They are all locked into the final. Locked into the consolation is Tim Johnson and Carson Kelly, who we just heard about, and TJ Serwinski, all locked into the consolation. So these remaining boats, we got Kelsey Best still fighting for a final spot. We got Nick Kish. We got Graham Trucking, Quentin Miller, Mickey Washburn, and Bo Rarick. So this Heat 3B should be a dandy. We're waiting for a countdown from our HID official, Jared Meyer. We're getting a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Heat 3B on the clock.
Heat 3B is on the clock inside 5 minutes until our start. You just heard Tate Meyer go down the list of boats. Only one of these, Scott Przbilski, driving the 7, Boitano Homes. The Spirit of Detroit is already locked into the final heat. The other 5 boats are fighting for a spot in that final. That should make it a good one for sure. Everybody will be driving very, very hard. 4 minutes and 30 seconds, 4:30 to the start of our Heat 3B. Let's take a look. Who will be competing? You ride along with Bo Rarig and the U440 Bucket List Racing 2. Bo Rarig out of Monroe. He's 28 years of age. He's got a 3rd place and a 1st place on the day. He was our winner in Guntersville. But right now, the task at hand, score a 1st or a 2nd place finish here in our Heat 3B. Riding along with Scott Przbilski, the U7 Boitano Home, Spirit of Detroit. You heard Tate earlier. He's one of only 3 boats already locked into the final heat. Look for him to run maybe a little bit conservatively. He doesn't want to do anything silly here, but he's got himself into the final heat. Scott Przbilski out of San Diego, California. Remember, that predominantly red boat was a winner last year at Seafair. Looking there at Nick Kish, driving the U9 for Strong Racing. This is Daryl and Vanessa's 2nd entry. We call it Strong Racing 2. Nick out of Rochester Hills. He's going to have to score big and score well here. He needs pretty much to win this heat and then perhaps get some help to find his way into the final. Nick Kish driving the U9 Strong Racing 2. Good look there at Scott Przbilski's hydroplane as you now are on board with Quentin Miller in the U12 to Graham Trucking. That is just a fabulous view of that race boat. Looking down in the water there, you see the propeller not even turning, and as Tate Meyer has been explaining, these boats can go down there when they set up for this park and start and literally shut the boats off. He has done that, and he is not alone in that particular start sequence. Here's Kelsey Best. He's got to run strong here. He wants to make sure he is in the final. He driving the Miss HomeStreet, the U6. Remember, it is the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. Kelsey wants to win it. To win it, he's got to be in that final heat. Looking also with the U48, that is the Lake Ridge Paving with Mickey Washburn coming down the front straightaway there in the predominantly white boat with the black and white checkerboard scheme on the fairings. There goes Nick Kish hard through the lower end of the race course. And you see Bo Rarig there coming up behind the Lake Ridge Paving and Mickey Washburn. It's Heat 3B. We are 2 minutes away from the start. If a couple of red boats could get any closer together, I don't know exactly how you would do that. Those 2 boats know each other very well. On the left, that is the T5 Miss Budweiser, for those of you that are history fans, and that is the T6, the U12 Graham Trucking. So those 2 red boats have been pitted together many, many times before. Coming up on 30 seconds to the 1 minute mark on that score up buoy. Tate, this one's going to be interesting. We got drivers and boats who need points.
We got drivers and boats who need points to get in that all-important final heat. And these boats are very, very close together, so we'll see what happens at the score-up buoy. Got Mickey Washburn lagging back. We got Nick Kish here doing the leapfrog procedure with 10 seconds left. These boats ahead of them should have started their engines. There they go. It looks like Scott Przbilski is going to have to go outside 1 mark. That looks like a very clean score-up. It looks like Quentin Miller might have the inside lane, and Kelsey Best might try to challenge him for it. I don't think he's going to have enough to move over into lane 1. Let's see where Scott Przybylski landed. He's going to scoot out to lane 4. He is already in the final, so that wouldn't affect him much, Brad. But Bo Rarig's in 3, 37 seconds at the north turn. Let's see who gets their points enough to get in the final here in Heat 3B.
Yeah, we mentioned Scott Przybylski driving the 7 Boitano Homes, that he might take it kind of conservatively, but I don't think that's the way he envisioned that lower corner going. He went down there and put himself into that fray to try and get the inside lane, but very quickly it became apparent he was not going to get it. He slid out to lane 4, but like you said, he's already got himself into the final. Quentin Miller is in 1. Kelsey Best is in 2. Bo Rarig's in 3. We're inside 5 seconds to the start. We're 3, 2, 1 mark, and look at all the speed on the outside from Nick Kish driving the strong racing entry, but he's going to get gobbled up by a lot of speed on the inside, and it's going to be Quentin Miller getting down to the lower corner first, and he is on the inside. Second place and in lane 2, and basically dead even with Bo Rarig. That is Kelsey Best driving the HomeStreet. So the race right now is for second place as Quentin Miller's flying up the backstretch, driving that 12 Graham Trucking. He is a very consistent driver, and that's a very fast race. And over goes Bo. Over goes Bo Rarig. He got too much air underneath the boat. It picked it up, and it was a classic blow over up the backstretch. He is out of this particular competition. That puts Kelsey Best squarely into second place. 1 lap of 3 already in the books, and it's been an eventful first lap, Tate Meyer.
Very eventful first lap, Brad. It was a clean start, so no issues there. We got Quentin Miller, a rooster tail ahead of Kelsey Best as they hit the exit pin of turn number 1, and we got a good battle here. Scott Przybylski, again, already locked into the final. Doesn't need to make a mistake here, but he's got Nick Kish on his outside, who does need to get around Scott to try to get more points and try to get in the final, but again, he needs a lot of help, and if unfortunately Bo Rarig blew it over where Mark Tate did back in 1993 up the backstretch in the Winston Eagle. But Quentin Miller, he's got 2 Rooster Tails lead maybe now. He's going to come off the north turn and pick up the white flag for 1 lap to go.
1 lap to go for our leader, Quentin Miller, out of Mercer Island, Washington, which is just off to his left as he comes down that front straightaway, bounces the boat a little bit, sets it up for the lower corner. Kelsey Best doesn't seem to be making up any ground. Not sure he's working that hard. I think a third-place finish will be good enough for Kelsey Best to find his way into the final. But the racing, as you said, Tate Meyer, is back there in third place, and it's a good one right now. Nick Kish on the outside, the rookie out of Rochester Hills, Michigan, is trying to get around Scott Przybylski. It's great racing. Przybylski's already in the final, but Kish is not, and I don't know if there's enough points there in third place to get him in that final heat, but Nick's going to give it a go and try and get his boat name and sponsor out there where everybody can see it. Meanwhile, checkered flag flies. It is Quentin Miller driving the 12, the Graham Trucking, 400 points in our Heat 3B. Second place will go to the Miss HomeStreet. Third will go to Scott Przybylski, and Nick Kish will come home in fourth place, driving the strong racing entry number 2. Fifth place will go to Mickey Washburn in the 48 Lake Ridge paving, and unfortunately we lost Bo Rarig on lap number 1 up the backstretch, and that is a tough break for Bo Rarig. He came into that heat with a third place finish in Heat 1B, a first place finish in 2A, and he now finds himself with no points in Heat 3B. That's a tough one to swallow right there, Tate Meyer.
Very, very tough to swallow. Unfortunate for Bo Rarig, but good news for Bo Rarig. He makes it into the final by about 50 points over the U11 of Ben Dowell. So Bo Rarig gets into the final by the skin of his teeth. Quentin Miller is also locked into the final thanks to that victory. Quentin, you made it work on the outside. On the inside, I should say. How did it feel?
I didn't think there was much hope for me making the final. So you guys, I hadn't even looked at the points before that heat. I just knew I needed a win. So thanks for telling me. I got to thank all of our sponsors today. We thank you so much for doing everything for us and supporting us. It's great we get to put this on. Spokane Angels, TDS Staples, Jesse Stitches, Orca Scuba Center, Atomic Screen Printing, Woodshed Embroidery. You guys are all awesome. We thank you so much. Got to thank Rob Graham, also everybody at H1, Rob, for letting me drive this boat. Hopefully we can go win the final.
So, Quentin, with the new racing platform and the changes that have been made, you can do things differently to your boat. What do you do now?
So it looks like we have some technical difficulties with Brad's mic, but I think what he was trying to say was lane one, do you set your boat up any differently? Higher gear, try to get the acceleration out of the corner to beat your opponents down the backstretch? Well, congratulations on getting into the final. We'll see you in the final heat, and give it your best, and good luck. So, Brad, as we're tabulating the final points here, we'll bring those up on the screen. We got locked into the provisional heat. We got the U3 Go 3 Racing with TJ Serwinski. The U8 and U9, both strong racing boats, have to fight their way into the final via the provisional heat. We have the U11 J&Ds. Ben Dowell encountering some difficulties on the day, and Mickey Washburn and Tim Johnson rounding out the provisional heat field. We'll bring that up on screen for you guys. Brad, are you back with me? There we go. I do.
In real boat racing, and I believe it has happened here in the H1 Unlimited E-League Racing Series. So not out of the question, but it's certainly not the ideal place to be.
Yeah, not out of the question, Brad, but we see the trailer position won before, and this will be a tough final heat to get into via the provisional, and we're looking forward to see who gets that. I don't know if it's coveted spot 5 seconds back on the slop at the final heat of Seafair, but we'll see who gets it.
The H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series is brought to you by Spokane Angels Foster Care. Spokane Angels Foster Care, where they wrap community around children, youth, and families experiencing foster care. And by Jesse Stitches, custom embroidery and more in Snohomish, Washington since 1990. In Snohomish, it's Jesse's Stitches. The American Powerboat Association and H1 Unlimited is a proud club of the American Powerboat Association, the national authority for boat racing in the United States. The APBA is a member-driven organization established in 1903 and headquartered in East Point, Michigan. For more information on the American Powerboat Association or to join, head over to www.apba.org. That's www.apba.org. There's some of our sponsors. Our field is set for the provisional heat. I'm ready to go racing. It may not be among the boats that are already in the final, but we have seen some fabulous provisional heats. Let's put this one on the water, Tate Meyer, and let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. We're on the clock for heat, or the provisional heat. Last chance to get your sponsor and your boat into the final. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. 5 minutes.
5 minutes. 5 minutes for the provisional heat, the last heat before our final heat of the day. It's the 2020 HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. And whereas at some events a provisional heat, sometimes referred to as a consolation heat, is not the most competitive on the planet, when it comes to the H1 Unlimited E-League Racing Series presented by Spokane Angels Foster Care, these can be some of the better heats of the season and of the day. So we'll look for some good racing. It's the last opportunity for some of these guys to get out on the water and put a show for their fans and sponsors. Riding along right there with a young man who would like nothing better than to have a good showing here, and watch his starting procedure here. This is Carson Kelly. See if he doesn't just go right to that entrance pin and shut it down. It is Carson Kelly driving Strong Racing entry number 1. That is the U8. There you see the U11, the J&Ds driven by Ben Dowell. Been a difficult day for the man, but he would love to have a good showing here. Remember, he is originally from Tacoma, Washington, so Lake Washington is like home waters for him. Ben Dowell, the U11 J&Ds. See Carson Kelly just off to his right. Here is the other Strong Racing entry. This is Strong Racing number 2. It's the U9. It's driven by Nick Kish out of Rochester Hills, Michigan. Nick had a great run in that last heat, almost getting around Scott Przybylski and picking up a 3rd place finish. He did not get past Scott, but he did pick up a solid 4th place, and the boat was running extremely well. Look for Nick Kish to represent the state of Michigan here with a good showing. The black and gold Goodman Real Estate, Tim Johnson, the U91 hydroplane. There you get a good look at that black and gold color scheme. Tim Johnson, 24 years old, out of Pasco. He's had a difficult day, not scoring enough points to get in the final, but for the fans of Madison, Indiana, the ownership group, he'd love to win this one and get the boat on the water for that final of the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. Mickey Washburn, right there in the U48. There it is, the predominantly white boat, Lake Ridge Paving Company with the very distinctive checkerboard scheme on the fairings. Look for Mickey to push it hard here. He's out of the Tri-Cities, so not necessarily his hometown, but certainly his home state. He wants to have a good showing here. There's the piston-powered boat. TJ Zerwinski out of Tonawanda, New York, a rookie on our series this year, but pretty much a rookie no more. We are in race number 4. He's driving the piston-powered boat. Go3 Racing Griggs Ace Hardware, the U3. Great looking shot of that piston-powered hydroplane there as he is at the entrance pin to turn 1. You see the other boats ahead of him up there and to the left. Boats in front of him here on this start sequence. Tate Meyer, we're inside 2 minutes. We're going to go 3 laps around the Ted Jones racecourse. At stake is the trailer position in the final heat.
Trailer position in the final, again, not the most coveted, but you do run at the final heat of the day, and that's always a good thing. We see Carson Kelly and Ben Dowell fighting for lane 1 down here, about 20, maybe 15 seconds until they fire those boats up and hit the 1-minute pin. You don't normally see the U3 parking and starting. The World War II engine doesn't really like to do that, but in the game you can certainly do that. And we're coming up on 20 seconds to the 1-minute pin. We got boats coming up behind. We got Mickey, we got Nick, and we got Tim. So this is going to be an interesting score up. 3 leapfroggers, 4 leapfroggers, and 2 parking starters. So we'll see what happens here. We got 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. We'll see what the score up is. We got 1 boat who jumped the score up. Tim Johnson jumped the score up. So we'll see where he goes. Looks like he's slowing down to go pick it up. But Carson and Ben didn't lose out too much. Those 4,000-foot straightaways are an advantage to parking starters. TJ Serwinski on the outside in lane 3. And then on his outside, it looks like it will be Nick Kish.
Tough break there for Tim Johnson. And, you know, it was a chance he had to take. He brought a carload of boat speed down the front straightaway. He almost timed it perfectly. And had he not jumped that 1-minute score-up buoy, I think he had enough boat speed up the backstretch. He might have been able to do some leapfrogging and get to an inside lane. He pushed the envelope. It's the last chance, the provisional. He kind of had to do it. But now we're ready to go racing inside 5 seconds, coming up on 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1, mark. And we're racing here in the provisional heat. The start looked good. We'll get it from
Clean
the officials.
start.
It is a clean start. Ben Dowell in lane number 2 is going to get down here first, but he's got company just off to his left, and in his left side rearview mirror is Carson Kelly driving the U8 for Strong Racing. Look at Ben fly the 11. Carson's got lane position, but right now it is Ben Dowell driving the daylights out of that U11 J&Ds for Scott and Shannon Rainey up the backstretch. This is a good one. It's 2 boats out front, but they're really rocking and rolling. You think this provisional provisional. Trailer position isn't worth fighting for. Don't tell that to these two guys. Carson Kelly's going to pull up to within a boat length and a half as they come off the top end of the race course and come down to put the first of 3 in the books. This is a good one, Tate Meyer. Can the young man run down Dowell on the inside?
See if he's got the advantage on the inside lane. We'll see if that is enough of an advantage as he hits the exit pin side by side with Ben Dowell, and if they're going to go through the first turn side by side the whole way, and then make a little contact on the exit pin of turn number 1 up the backstretch here on lap 2. Again, deck to deck. It looks like Ben has a little bit more straightaway speed, but again, the straightaways are not that long here in Seattle. You can get a good acceleration off of the corner and then get to the checkered flag first. That's going to be Carson Kelly's strategy as he pulls up alongside Ben Dowell again. We'll see if Ben Dowell puts more room between him and Carson Kelly down this straightaway to pull out an advantage as they hit the white flag lap on lap number 3, Brad.
Yeah, Ben Dowell's got about 2, maybe 3 boat lengths advantage right now over Carson Kelly on the inside. They got mighty close together down here last time. The boats may have swapped a little bit of paint. There's an old statement about rubbins racing, but that's not what we do in unlimited hydroplane racing. Kelly had to go through the rooster tail and move to the outside. He couldn't hold that inside lane. Now he dove back to the inside, but you can see it cost him a fair amount of real estate. The referee, I'm sure, will take a look at that. I believe there was still a lane in there for Carson. We'll call it legal until we hear something different. But this is the top of the race course on the 3rd and final lap. We are racing for a trailer position in our final heat of the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair, and it appears as though Ben Dowell, driving the 11 J&Ds from lane number 2, is going to come home and pick up the checkered flag. Look for the white buoy. There it was. He went across it. What a great run for Ben Dowell and the J&D. Scott and Shannon Rainey, your entry will be on the water for the final, but it did not come easy for Mr. Dowell, the young man out of Nashville, Tennessee. Carson Kelly was not going to go away. We said it before the heat started, Tate Meyer, sometimes these provisionals could be the best heat of the day.
They can be, and that certainly was one of them. Ben Dowell, again, using lane 2. And using that acceleration, a little bit more acceleration, a little bit of a taller gear than Carson Kelly had. And Carson Kelly had to maybe end his turns a little bit quicker. He couldn't float the boat out because he would have risked running into Ben's rooster tail, which it looks like he did a bit on the last turn of the final lap. There was room in there for Carson to maneuver. He just couldn't hold it in that lane. So we have a stacked final heat here, Brad, as we are positioning towards the final. We're going to put our provisional boats on the trailer. As you can see, the trailer they go. They just kind of magically hop up there in the game here. There's no crane waiting for a crane and battling with your dock mates, so to speak. So our final heat is the U1 Bucket List Racing 1 with Eddie Canfouche, the U6 Miss HomeStreet with Kelsey Best, the U7 Boitano Homes Scott Przybylski, the U12 Graham Trucking with Quentin Miller, U98 Graham Trucking American Dream Matt Johnson, and the U440 Bucket List Racing 2 with Bo Rarig. And then 5 seconds behind the clock, he does not have to be behind the field 5 seconds, but behind the clock 5 seconds, is Ben Dowell and the U11 J&Ds, our provisional heat winner. We got a couple of teammates here in the final heat, Brad. We'll see if that plays into any pre-race and score-up shenanigans here in our final heat. But Brad, as we wait for a countdown here, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock here on Lake Washington on the Ted Jones race course, it's normally the signal to the end of summer and a great couple months of boat racing. So we can't wait to get back to Seafair next year. We're going to miss it this year. I'm going to miss it terribly because I like seeing that afternoon sun behind me, behind the camera, as I'm filming the races from start finish line. I'm sure you like that view too as they head away from the dock for the final heat.
Yeah, this would have been our 70th year of boat racing on Lake Washington, and no, I haven't been to all 70 of them, but I've been to a lot of them, and it just for some reason, for a very obvious reason, it's just on some level, it's wrong that we just can't go down and see our boat racing this year. It's wrong in the sense that we've done it for so many years and we understand the reasons behind the decisions, but doggone it, I sure wish we could go down and do it, because this is the epitome right here of summer for those of us that are boat racing fans. Final heat of the Seafair. It's everything just kind of builds to this one big moment, but this is what we have right now. The product is very good. The competition is very good. I think we're going to see a very good final heat. The H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series, presented by Spokane Angels Foster Care, is brought to you in part by Atomic Screen Printing and Embroidery, a leading Northwest producer of high-quality screen printed and embroidered products since 1998. And by TDS, a leading high-speed internet provider. TDS offers the fast speeds you need, the reliability you deserve. And by Staples of Spokane, Washington. Staples, going that extra mile for your office needs. Staples of Spokane. It is final heat time at the Seattle Seafair. It is the 2021 HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. Time to crown a champion. It's a winner-take-all final. Tate Meyer, we're going to go 5 times around. Anything can happen. Let's put them on the water, and let's see what does.
All right, coming up on a countdown, we're 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. As you like to say, Brad, buckle up. Here we go.
Buckle up, Seattle. Here we go. Time to pull out the big trophy and crown someone a Seattle Seafair champion. Many drivers have said it is so important and can be career defining to have, or on the other end of the spectrum, to perhaps not have a Seattle Seafair Trophy Championship on Lake Washington. So many of our teams are here, our drivers are here. This one is huge. And believe me, all of these guys are going out there with one idea, and it is win the final heat of the 2021 HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. Let's take a look at the 6 boats that'll be on the front row on our one trailer. Bo Rarick driving Bucket List Racing 2. He's half of the Team Orange entry that's going to be on the water, the 440. Bo Rarick out of Monroe, Washington. He was a winner in Guntersville. Here's a boat that you know I like in this field. He has been quick all day. The U-98 Graham Trucking American Dream, young man out of Port Angeles, Washington. He's 30 years of age. Oh, would he love to win on Lake Washington. Matt Johnson driving a Graham Trucking American Dream. Here is Ben Dowell, just had a great run in our provisional heat. He's going to be our trailer, but that's okay. That suits him just fine now, having at least got in and get his sponsor, J&D's, out on the water. U11, J&D's, Ben Dowell. He'll be the trailer starting 5 seconds behind the clock. Quentin Miller, red, black, and silver. Graham Trucking Racing. Quentin from Mercer Island, Washington, driving the U12. A very consistent driver and a very consistent hydroplane. If he can get the start he wants and an inside lane to get the jump on these guys, you always have your hands full driving around. Mr. Miller, 26 years old, out of Mercer Island. This guy's been fairly quiet all day, considering how he has run so far this year, and previously you won the Bucket List Racing Eddie Canfouche. But if he's been quiet during the day, don't expect him to be quiet now. The 18-year-old out of Grand Island, New York, can handle this hydroplane. He was a winner 2 weeks ago. He'd love to take the HomeStreet Bank Cup trophy and take it back to New York with him. Somebody who'd love to keep it right here in Seattle is the Miss HomeStreet, Kelsey Best. He's 33 years of age, born in Redmond, which is about 15 to 20 miles from downtown Seattle. He now resides in Mesa, Arizona. Kelsey Best could probably not think of anything better than winning the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. Scott Przybylski driving the 7 Boitano Home Spirit of Detroit. As you see, the boat is predominantly red with some blue and white striping on it. Scott Przybylski from San Diego, California. DJ Miller was behind the wheel a year ago at the Seafair Trophy final heat and was victorious. So the boat was a winner here last year. Przybylski will try and do it for himself today. The two red boats right together down there look like twins down there in the corner. They were together on the previous heat, except the lanes were just reverted. You had the Graham Trucking just on the outside. We'll keep an eye on those two. 30 seconds to the 1 minute mark. Let the fun begin, Tate Meyer. This is all about getting a good lane right now.
All about getting a good lane and getting a good start and getting to turn 1 first. 20 seconds until the 1 minute pin. We got 2 parking starters, 4 parking starters, and then a couple of leapfroggers here. Let's see where Eddie and Bo and Kelsey slot themselves. We're 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. 1 minute pin, clean score up as they head up the backstretch. Let's see who has the advantage. It's going to be Kelsey Best out in front of everybody. He's got enough overlap to come over a couple lanes. Let's see how many lanes he comes over. He goes all the way to lane number 1. Where does the rest of the field go? Quentin and Scott are going to go for the same lane. Looks like Quentin got boxed out. Let's see where Quentin Miller goes. He might slot himself into lane number 3. We'll see where everybody slots themselves, Brad. It looks like he's in lane number 3, and Scott is in lane number 2. As Pat O'Day used to say, welcome home, Sockeye. I guess it's the virtual Sockeye, but you've had a long swim. Here's the final heat of the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair.
Wow, what a run down the backstretch by Kelsey Best. And he almost lost it again at the top end of the race course, but he's got it now. Kelsey Best in the HomeStreet is in 1. Przybylski is in 2. Inside 5 seconds, coming up on 3, 2, 1. Mark, and we are racing here in the final heat of the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. Got lanes moving around a little bit. Everybody holding them now. And on the outside, it's going to be Eddie Canfouche. He appeared to move over. He may have come in contact with Quentin Miller. I believe he did. But meanwhile, on the inside, it is Kelsey Best driving to HomeStreet. He's got a little bit of a lead as they run down the backstretch. Keep an eye on the orange and black on the outside. That is Eddie Canfouche. But there is a boat between those two, and it is Scott Przybylski in lane 2. Great racing here at the top end of the race course, and Przybylski hooked to the left and has gone inside a buoy. That will be a penalty. Meanwhile, Kelsey Best now has opened up about a half a rooster tail on fast Eddie Canfouche, and it's going to take a Herculean effort by Eddie to catch up to Kelsey, but you know him, and so do I, Tate Meyer. He is not going to give up.
He's not going to let him go, Brad. We got a great race, and Scott Przybylski did jump the gun, so he was kind of taking himself out, letting these two big dogs of the E-League battle it out up the backstretch. Kelsey Best has the advantage, about a half rooster tail league, but Eddie Canfouche will not settle his boat down. He's going to push until the very end. He's got a comfortable lead in high points. He is going to push Kelsey all 5 laps. Kelsey Best hangs it on the hook here at the north turn, the floating bridge turn. Here comes off the north turn. Kelsey Best about a half a rooster tail lead, just like they were last lap, Brad, as they start lap number 3.
Yeah, if Kelsey Best thinks he's going to be able to just sit back and relax on this one, it is not going to happen. Eddie is going to make sure that right side rear view mirror is full of as much orange as he can put in it. He is not going to go away. He's going to keep the pressure on. We are on lap number 3. As we get halfway up the backstretch, we are going to be halfway through this final heat of the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. And it is a dandy. And so far it has been Kelsey Best, but he has not been able to shake Eddie Canfouche. It has turned into a 2-boat race, and these two are out front. They've got clean water. There is nobody in front of them they're going to come up on right now. It is just simply the two of them, heavyweight, standing there throwing punches, and let's find out who is going to be able to hold on and win the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. Right now, Kelsey Best, and this time, Tate Meyer, he opened up a little bit of water on Mr. Canfouche.
He's opening up a little bit of water. That 1,000-foot less of straightaway Eddie cannot use to his advantage as he would have last week in Tri-Cities, for example. So Kelsey can keep it tight. He's going to push Eddie out a little bit. He's going to push him out to lane 3 or 4, try to get more of an advantage at the back straightaway. A little bit of a hip check up the backstretch on the Ted Jones race course. The log boom there in the background, and Kelsey Best has a rooster tail lead. He's going to try to extend that here at the exit of turn number 2, the north turn, And Eddie's going to dive inside. We'll see if he has overlap or Kelsey can close the door. I think Kelsey can close the door right now. Maybe. Let's see. This final lap is going to be exciting, Brad.
It's going to be really exciting. Eddie Canfouche has moved to the left side rear view mirror. We'll see if he's able to hold that lane, and he is going to be on the inside. He has now established that inside lane. Best has got to leave it for him. It's tight in there for Canfouche, but he was able to hold it. Oh, this is going to be fun. We are on the final lap and up the backstretch on the fifth, the 5 times around the race course. It is Eddie Canfouche on the inside. Can he possibly pull this off and run down Kelsey Best? Canfouche was able to dive to the inside lane, and Kelsey couldn't close the door on him. They are going to come off of this corner virtually dead even. This last straightaway to the start-finish line will determine the winner of the 2021 HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. This is going to be really close. And I can't tell my angle. I think Kelsey Best was able to get the win on the outside, but I could be wrong. My angle is not squared up. That is as close as it could possibly get, Tate Meyer. I know you are talking to the officials. Do we have officially who crossed that finish line first?
We're checking the timing and scoring screens. Brad, I think it was Kelsey Best who won, but those are unofficial. Turn 1 is under review. We have a little bit of shenanigans to review, but what a final heat there, Brad, between Kelsey Best and Eddie Canfouche. Eddie diving to the inside on the final lap coming out of the north turn. Wow, what a heat.
Wow is right. You can't oversell that one. Penalties or potential penalties notwithstanding, we have said, and we said during that heat, that if you draw Eddie Canfouche, he is going to keep the pressure on. He is going to stay after you continually. He's not going to let you have anything. You're going to have to earn it. I love the effort diving to the inside lane. Unfortunately, he dove in there, and Kelsey, unfortunately, didn't have enough room to move over and slam the door on him. He was able to run him down, and again, we're still waiting for an official result. I'm literally guessing from my angle that it was Kelsey Best, but I don't know. Kelsey on that last corner went way wide, kept the speed up very, very high, and was able to possibly nip Eddie Canfouche at the line. I know you're in contact with our referees to get a final call. But
Kelsey Best is
special.
your 2021 H1 Unlimited E-League HomeStreet Bank Cup champion. Kelsey is going to join us here in the announcer's booth. HomeStreet fans are going to be really excited, Brad. Kelsey Best is your HomeStreet Bank Cup champion. Kelsey, what a final heat that was. How did it look from your perspective?
That was a little too close for comfort. I'd love to say I was just trying to make it a show and let Eddie cut to the inside there, but that definitely was not the case. That was a tough one.
Kelsey, Brad Luce here at the completion of lap number 4 there, and when you started the final lap, Eddie dove to the inside. I've got to think at some point coming down that front straightaway, you wanted to move left and slam the door on him. Were you concerned that maybe you didn't have enough overlap?
Yeah, Tim Johnson was my spotter. He did a great job. We were spotting for each other all day. And when it's not clear, you don't want to, take a sorry, you don't want to take away a chance for a win with a dumb penalty. So I tightened it up as to 2 because we weren't quite sure if I could go to 1 or not. And it's tough to run in lane 1, even though these are big corners. So I thought I was still going to be okay, but then I ran into some rough water through the turn and then on the backstretch. So he was able to close up there a lot. And off that last corner, I just tried to get the wheel straight as quick as I could and then pray.
Pray and fly it. Can put into words, I know it's just virtual racing, but this is the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. Your boat is the Miss HomeStreet. You were able to win earlier this year in front of the ownership group in Madison, Indiana. What does it mean today to win the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair driving the Miss HomeStreet?
Well, yeah, Brad, it's a bit hard to put words to it, but yeah, this is virtual racing. It's all good fun. Hopefully, it's a good show for everyone. But we do take it seriously. We do put in time practicing, and running together with all these guys, and obviously having all that work pay off. Last week was not a good result for me, or last race. I didn't even finish a heat. So I was a bit down in the dumps, and I think probably in the first multiple time winner in a season in the E League, because it's been pretty spread apart with the wins. It's just incredible, and to do it for Home Street Bank in the Home Street Bank Cup, I guess I can go back and say I won the two that mattered.
Yeah, you certainly did, and you did it in dramatic fashion. I know you said earlier in the day that this was your first heat you'd finished on the new build and the new iteration of the game. What do you think of that new game now?
Well, it's great. I mean, Scott and there's been a bunch of people trying to work with Scott to help kind of dial in the boat physics to make them a bit more realistic. I've given some feedback. I never drove an unlimited hydroplane in real life, but I did drive 1 liters, and so I was one of those given feedback, and he got a lot of good info from much better and more experienced drivers than I. But it's incredible. Just how you kind of have to control the boat, and obviously having the setups makes for a completely new dynamic that I think we're all still getting used to a little bit. But it does mean that from starting from an outside lane, there's more strategy to it than just everyone battling for lane one and going from there.
One last question here. I guessed at who won when you crossed the start-finish line there at the end. Did you know you had won, or did you have to wait and get it official? What did you see?
Well, I wasn't looking anywhere except at my canard. Just trying to fly as much as I could. In the game, there is an indicator that shows what position you're in. The game has been a little bit glitchy with certain things around the start-finish line and stuff, so I wasn't sure 100%, but it did show that I was in first. I didn't dare look to the side to see if I could see where Eddie was as I was crossing the line, because I was trying to fly the boat. But yeah, that was incredible, and I hope it stays.
Well, let me ask you
Seafair,
how
after all.
it is Seafair. So let's. I'm sure it will stand. You've earned it. It was a tremendous day of racing. Kelsey Best, the Seafair champion, driving the Miss HomeStreet, claims the HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair. That's got a pretty nice ring to it.
Yeah, Brad, and obviously, like I said earlier today, it's awesome to see that we have even more sponsors signing up for these events. Hopefully, they feel they're getting their value out of it. We have Spokane Angels Foster Care, TDS Fiber, Woodshed Embroidery, Staples, Jesse Stitches, Thomas Green Printing. Just want to thank all of them so much for supporting these events. It is virtual racing, but we get so much enjoyment out of it. And then, of course, I got to say thanks again to Home Street Bank and Citizens for Madison, Indiana, for the opportunity. And like I always like to do, shout out to Scott for, again, giving us this amazing platform, having so much fun. Hopefully it's a good show for people during these times.
It's been a terrific show. Thank you and congratulations. You are the 2021 Home Street Bank Cup at Seafair champion.
Thank you, guys.
Tate Meyer, that was a terrific, terrific day of racing. Any final comments from you, young man?
No, just a great day of racing. Even though we haven't got on the water in real life yet, this Hydro Sim game has given me the same adrenaline rush that it would if I had 6 big unlimited hydroplanes coming into turn number 1 at Seattle like we do every year. What a great day, a great event. I want to thank all the drivers for putting on a great show. And again, thank you all to all the fans for watching and tuning in and sharing. You do us a great help by sharing everything and telling your friends about it. Thanks to all the new sponsors who have hopped on. You really help us. We appreciate you. We love doing this every couple weeks. And what a great season of racing, Brad. I can't wait to get to San Diego and see who captures this Home Street or this H1 Unlimited E-League Series crown presented by Spokane Angels. So a great day here in Seattle. Thank you, Brad, for lending your voice again. You do such a great job. Thank Jared Meyer for being the head referee. Thanks Shannon and Emily Rainey for monitoring the back end, so to speak, of the stream. So what a great day, Brad. I had a lot of fun.
The H1 Unlimited E-League Hydroplane Racing Series is brought to you by Spokane Angels Foster Care. Their unique and powerful Love Box program is changing the way children experience care through intentional giving, relationship building, and mentorship. And by Jesse's Stitches, custom embroidery and more in Snohomish, Washington since 1990. And by TDS, a leading high-speed internet provider. TDS offers the fast speed you need and the reliability you deserve. Atomic Screen Printing and Embroidery, a leading Northwest producer of high-quality screen-printed and embroidered products since 1998. And by Staples of Spokane, Washington. Staples, going the extra mile for your office needs. And by the Orca Scuba Center in Wenatchee, Washington. A member of the Professional Association of Diving Instructors, Orca offers a full range of snorkeling and scuba courses along with all the equipment you need for your next adventure. And by Woodshed Embroidery in Spokane, Washington, for all your embroidery and vinyl needs to include t-shirts, hats, jackets, patches, and more. It's Woodshed Embroidery in Spokane. I'd like to add some thank yous myself, Tate, to what you had said just earlier. A special thanks to our producer engineers today. That would be yourself, Tate, along with Brother Jared. The amount of work and effort put forth by these two young men in the production of this racing league is absolutely incredible. Also, a special thank you, as Tate did, to Emily and Shannon Rainey for all their work behind the scenes on the back end, as Tate said, that make the racing and the broadcast possible. Simply put, without Shannon and Emily, this doesn't happen. It's that simple. Congratulations one last time to our HomeStreet Bank Cup at Seafair champion. It is Kelsey Best, the U6, the Miss HomeStreet. 2 weeks from now, our racing will move south to sunny Southern California and the San Diego Bay Fair. We hope to see you there. But for now, from the shores of Lake Washington, and on behalf of Tate Meyer and all of us at the H1 Unlimited E-League, this is Brad Luce saying, so long, everyone.